everyone, it's Krista here with Outgrown, and as promised, today I'm talking about my top 5 food garden successes of 2024. Again, you guys, my apologies. I did take a bunch of footage this summer, and sadly, when I switched over my phone, I lost all of, well, the majority of it. I just don't have a lot. So my content isn't super great. Again, we're sitting here at my kitchen island. We're having a chat about this, but better to talk to you guys about it than not talk to you guys about it, regardless of the footage that I have or don't have. So anyways, I just wanted to get on here real quickly because I have started to notice that the seed companies are all coming out with their new catalogs. We have a postal strike going on here in Canada right now. And so I just saw William Dam, which is one of my favorite places to order seeds from in Canada. They said their catalogs are ready. They'll be shipped out as soon as the Canada Post strike is over, but online you can start ordering. So I wanted to get on here because I know, like, if you guys are like me, we are all starting to plan our seed orders and ordering already and all that good stuff, because sometimes you will be starting seeds, especially here in zone 3. You'll be starting seeds coming up here right in the new year. I will not be starting anything until, February, March-ish. I'm not starting anything in January. If anything, it would be the Lysianthus, and I'm not doing that. I do have to quickly browse through a few things because there are some things that will need to get started at the beginning of February, but I'm not stressing about that till we get through Christmas. And then while we're on holidays, I'm going to make my master plan and get going. I've been trying to do a seed order. You guys, I am a hairstylist by trade and I own a hair salon. So it is super crazy, bananas, bonkers. Then being at the farm, we lost our cow gumball. Like, it has been so insane for me. I haven't even had time to think about the seed order. We don't even have a Christmas tree up yet. So yeah. Anyways, without further ado, I want to do this because I want you guys to know what I had as far as as far as successes went. I don't have the exact variety because unfortunately I left my box of vegetable seeds at the farm. So I will, when I edit the video, I will be popping that up into the screen so you guys know exactly which varieties I use and where I got them from, so that you guys know. Honestly, I get the majority of my seeds from William Dan Seed Company. That's where I get, I would say, 75% of my seeds. 25% of my seeds, which would mainly be flower seeds, I get from Johnny's out of the States. And then I go to our local PV Mart because they bring in like an insane amount of seeds. And I go into the local PV Mart and I pick up whatever seeds I can get there because I love to support local stores. And sometimes I just don't need a lot of stuff. The reason I choose to order from William Dam is because of the variety and the quantities you can get. Same thing with Johnny's. You can get like a lot of seeds. So for instance, when I order corn, I don't want just one package. I want like a ton of seeds. I usually order like 1,000. So that's why I do that, you guys. Anyhow, let's get on with it. We're going to start with number 5. My number 5 top success in the food garden this year was the acorn squash. Now, I ordered acorn squash seeds last year and they didn't get to me till like midway through the season. So I wasn't able to, or this was 2 seasons ago, I should say. Not this past summer, the summer before. So anyways, now last year I had this whole big bag of acorn squash seeds and I was so pumped to try it out. And at the very beginning, pardon me, at the very beginning of the season, I was like not seeing any germination. Like there was no flower setting to fruit kind of thing. And I was like, what the heck? But I didn't want to tamper with it. I just wanted to let it be. I know some people take the flowers and pollinate yourself or whatever, but I just wanted to see. I didn't want to be messing with them. I just wanted to see what would happen. Well, lo and behold, these acorn squash just started cropping up everywhere. And I was so pumped about them. They are the cutest little things to grow. I have a few that are actually turning back orange here. I've had them for so long. I don't know if that means they're like, because they're orange and then they turn green and now they're turning back orange. So I don't know what's up with that, but these are from the garden. I still have spaghetti squash, butternut squash, and these. And then I just processed my last two pumpkins at the farm on the weekend. So yeah, they turned out awesome, and I love acorn squash. There just ended up being, by the time they were all growing, there was tons of them. They were everywhere, and they were a little late to be ready. I will say they were yeah, they were ready in September. Like, we ended up getting some frost, and that's what killed the plants. So yeah, anyways, so that was my number 5. I was just wondering though, who else loves squash? I think squash is such an amazing vegetable because you can, winter squash especially stores so unbelievably well. Last year I had spaghetti squash all the way until the garden season, and I'll have the same this year. I like eating squash. I just don't eat it at every meal. So for me, I could honestly get away with like one plant of everything. And that's what we did this past season, is that I was selling food subscription boxes 2 years ago. And for a few years I did that. And last year I decided to not do the food subscription boxes because I I was starting to not enjoy the food gardening process because it just seemed like such a job to me. And so I just downsized and had to get away from that because I love growing food. I love cooking. I love eating good food. And so I just had to get away from that, growing so much and selling it because I just want to be able to enjoy my garden. So this past year was great. Though I will say the vegetable garden did get a little bit neglected because of the flowers. But I'm going to reevaluate. I'll have a video about that coming up, but I need to reevaluate what we're doing at the garden because you guys, we are busy, busy people. But anyways, that is my number 5, acorn squash. My number 4 this season, you guys, was tomatillos. Now, those are the Spanish or Mexican style tomato. They are lovely. They grew so well that I had a bajillion of them from last year that self-seeded, which actually I thought was going to be a disaster, and it was a little bit of a disaster because there were so many of them. But I actually ended up using them for greenery in my bouquets, and it was an amazing greenery. There is a video about that. I will link it in the description to that video. But the tomatillo plant makes a wonderful greenery for your fresh floral bouquets. But as well, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plants that I grew intentionally. I started them from seed, and then I intentionally grew them to make salsa verde, and they turned out fabulous. I had tomatillos everywhere. Like, if you guys have ever grown a tomatillo plant, it is amazing how many freaking tomatillos grow on them. And then they're so cute because they look like they're like a little lantern because they have that papery film on the outside. And anyways, we grew them last year for our first time, or not 2024, but 2023, because we had some friends ask us to grow them, and I mean, I've had them before and I love them. I don't know, I just had never grown them. So, or maybe I had tried one time. Can't quite remember. I've grown a garden for a lot of years. I've tried a lot of things. But anyhow, so we grew them, and then they turned out great. And then Mark, my partner, he loved the salsa verde. So this year I made lots of it, and we were very successful with them. So that was awesome. They have this a very unique flavor. They taste nothing like a tomato, and you have to boil them first to bring out that sweetness in them, and then they're really, really delicious. I do have a really great salsa verde recipe. If you ever want it, just drop me a comment. I can probably put it in the description. There's probably enough space. So maybe I will drop that in there just for anybody for future reference, if you care to know. But the tomatillos were my number 4. I highly recommend growing them. If you like a little bit of a different, the salsa verde's got jalapeno, cilantro, lime juice. So fresh, so delicious. And I actually canned it this year. Turned out brilliantly. Okay, you guys, so that's going to take me up to number 3. My third favorite or best food crop was my peppers. Coffee break. My peppers grew insane this year. I started a bunch from seed. I ended up buying a bunch from the greenhouse because I lost some due to cold weather. But anyways, I had pepper plants, jalapenos, and green peppers, and some that were supposed to turn into, well, yeah, yellow and purple, but they didn't quite make it there. But I mean, I'm telling you guys, I had peppers galore this summer, and I love to make canned jalapenos. They are like, I love jalapenos and I love peppers. We just enjoy them with a lot of different things. But to preserve them, I make this pickled jalapeno recipe, and it is to die for, and everybody loves it. So this year, I did not need to buy a single jalapeno. And there's been years in the past where I have not had enough to get us through the winter. And people love that as a gift too. Like, they love my jalapenos for when I give them to them as gifts. So I always like to have a lot on standby um because then I can give them out. And so anyways, I actually did a farmer's market last year and sold my pickled jalapenos, and people were like cuckoo loco about them. They love them. This year I had enough to do for us, but I didn't have any extras. And so I didn't go to the store and buy any to do at the farmer's market because I also didn't have any extra garlic and garlic powder, which is also what I sold at the farmer's market last year. So yeah, anyways, they were amazing. And we had fresh green peppers all throughout the whole season, and they're just so delicious and juicy and crunchy and amazing, and I love them. Yeah, we cook peppers on a lot of different, we use peppers on a lot of different things, in salads. We roast them with, other vegetables. We make, kind of sausage and peppers with them. Like, we just stuff peppers. We make pepper soup. Like, anyway, so we do lots of amazing things with the peppers, and they grew tremendously this year. Super, super happy with that. Where they were planted, they were pumped. Like, my jalapenos were just these like bushes of jalapenos. And I think I got like 2 solid pickings off of them, which is pretty good because our season in zone 3 is pretty short. So that was pretty awesome. Um, I grow so many different types of vegetables. It's crazy, you guys. I have, we'll go into great detail about that this year. I plan to spend more time evenly between flowers and the food because I love growing food as much as I love growing vegetable or flowers. And I realized that this year, I had been really like missing the process of growing vegetables and not feeling stressed out about it. So I really, even though things got a bit neglected, I still really love like growing, and I love watching everything turn into food. And I love that so much. So, hey, buddy boy. Okay, so my number 2, you guys, is my leeks. And so I grow the giant leeks. And this is my second year growing leeks. And leeks need to be started well in advance, you guys. These things are slow movers. And because we are in zone 3, we need to start them inside, like long before. But anyway, so here I am. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try these leeks again. I have seed left over. So I just get a tray like this. I just like load up the seeds in there, like tons of them. I just let them grow. Just let them grow. They're slow. I let them grow, whatever. And then when it came time to planting them, I just like broke them apart and then like planted them and just like hoped for the best. It was kind of like, I was like, well, here, we'll see what happens. I think they have to be started like at least 12 to 14 weeks in advance. Are you taking over the video? Thanks. Hello, little buddy. Hey, guy. Oh my goodness. No bites. Anyway, so the leeks, I wasn't really sure exactly how they were going to grow, and then we had a new area of the garden this year because we had a burn pile that finally got burnt, and then we had it anyways. So they were in this new area, and but we tried to level it out as best as we could. But there was like a little part that dipped down, which actually ended up being in some of the onions, not the leeks. So the leeks turned out phenomenal, you guys. The You're just being a stinker. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Anyhow, yeah, so they were they are slow to grow. Like leeks, I will say that. They're not a very fast growing crop, so you got to be patient with them. And so, they were starting to be ready, in the fall, which is awesome. We could make like potato leek soup, and I made like a potato leek frittata, and then I added leeks into stir fries and all this amazing stuff, and they are super yummy. And so I was really happy about that because last year I grew leeks and I'm getting you guys confused. So in 2023, not that last year, in 2023 I grew leeks, but I had only enough of them be successful to give to my subscription subscribers because I just didn't have enough of them grow. So I think I had 12 people in the last year that I did the subscription. Hey, buddy, don't bump that. Come here, you little sneaker. You just want to be into everything. Okay, here. Why don't we just hang out, you and I? We'll just be buddies. Anyhow, so I had 12 people, and I think I gave each of them like 3 leeks, which left none to us. That was kind of my tipping point of deciding not to do the subscriptions anymore. When I said to Mark, I was like, dang it, like I don't even have any leeks available for us. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to stop doing the subscription. And he said, so like we can actually enjoy some of what you grow in the garden. And then that made me really realize that unfortunately it wasn't enjoyable for me or for Mark. I was really busy with it. And then some of the things like we didn't even get to enjoy. Leeks being the main one. I was like, oh, that's such a bummer. So I was pretty pumped about them growing this year because then we got to enjoy them and they were so good. They were awesome. So I'm for sure, I like all these things I'm going to be growing again amongst a lot of other things. I've already been preparing my list of what I want to grow for next year. So that's going to take me to my number one thing that I grew this year. And if you guys have been watching my channel, you may guess what it is. But my number one crop that I grew in the food garden this year were melons. Oh my gosh, you guys. These were my pride and joy. Okay, so it was a whole thing. I started honeydew, cantaloupe, and watermelons. I started these all. And then I planted them out before we went on our cruise to Alaska in May. And they did not make the cold, rainy weather that we had. So I was pretty bummed out about that, but I was like, I'm still going to try. Cat hair on me. I'm still going to try melons. I need to go find. What are you doing for that for? I'm going to go find some melons at the greenhouse and see if I can't grow them. So I ended up going to the greenhouse in Foam Lake. It's the Shamrock Greenhouse. It is a lovely greenhouse. They have a lot of amazing stuff there. So I went to the Shamrock Greenhouse and lo and behold, they had a musk melon, which is a variety that's like of cantaloupe. I think I looked it up and it's like it was green on the inside but tasted like a mix between a honeydew and a cantaloupe. And then they had cantaloupe and they also had watermelon, one watermelon plant. So I'm like, okay, I'm grabbing these all. Atrocious price. Didn't care. I think they were like $8 each. Madness. So I planted them out and I was just like, please grow. I really want to grow melons. I think this would be amazing. And anyways, so I was very successful with the little guy's hairs on my face. Very successful with the cantaloupe and the muskmelon, you guys. I grew on each plant. There was 5 that grew on each plant, and they were the cutest little things. Like they just started off so small, and then they were like this big, and then they were this big, and they were awesome. I loved the whole process of watching them grow. It was so cool. And yeah, they're so cute. And so the watermelons, they grew, but they were just really slow. And so what I actually did was I had a few extra watermelon seeds and I planted them out. And then I had this one plant that I bought and planted that out. And the one plant I bought, its watermelon kind of got this big. And then actually I was like waiting so patiently for it. And then I got to the farm one day and I don't know, the squirrel or the gopher or I think it's squirrels that we have. What? No, the gophers. They frickin' we had one resident gopher in the garden, and I think he got to it, and so that was crappy. But that's okay because I had all these like cute cantaloupes, and I had all these. Owie, you little turkey! Hey, hey, hey! This is not the time for that. We are not biters. You need to learn that. It's not cool to do. Anyway, so yeah, consequently, they turned out awesome. And the flavor, oh my gosh, you guys, the flavor was unbelievable. So they were just delicious. So that was the one thing about growing them, is that I wasn't sure when they were ready. And so I quickly Googled it, and it was like, well, when they slip off the plant. So I was thinking they'll just fall off. So I'm like waiting and waiting and waiting, and a couple weeks go by, and I'm like, you know what? I better figure out what this slip means. So I like look it up a little further. Sure enough, slip means that it comes off the stem easily, but like not just it's not just gonna fall off. Like you kind of push on it, and it the stem breaks away from the fruit easily, not with great force. So I was like, oh my gosh. And then you'll notice that there's like little cracks around it. Once that starts to happen, then that's ready to roll. So here I go to take them off, and like, sure enough, they come off. I'm like, okay. But I was like, I don't want to pick them all at once because I don't need that many melons all at once. So I picked a couple, and then I left it for another week, and then picked a couple, and I was eating melon like crazy because it's so delicious. And then I went back to the farm a week after that, and there was like maybe a couple left on each plant. And sure as shit, something had gotten to one of my musk melons. It was half eaten, and then one of my cantaloupe was entirely gone. So, anyways, I'm not sure where they went. I mean, we have like wildlife like crazy. You know, we have those gophers, and then we have raccoons. Yeah, there was raccoons in the yard for a bit. And then we had, we have coyotes and whatever else, bunnies and anything that really wants to hang out. Obviously, we're out on the ranch. We're in the middle of everywhere, and we have all kinds of wildlife. So who knows what got to them, but I was just so pumped about them growing that I was like, I am for sure doing this again next year. Like 100% gonna grow melons. I am gonna look and see if there's different varieties that I might be able to grow that would grow good here in Saskatchewan. So those, you guys, are my top 5 absolute successes of the garden. My next video is going to be my top 5 food garden fails, but for now I wanted to start off on a good happy note because my last video was a little sad because I was dealing with my cow gumball. But anyways, so that is going to do it for me, you guys. That is my top 5. I will put video links in the description, and I'll put as much detail as possible, and then try to put a couple of my recipes down in the bottom as well, or links to the recipes. Like, the problem is that I have these basic recipes, but then I tweak them to what I want. So it might be better if I just put my recipe in there. If I don't get it in there, then if you are interested, shoot me a message or comment, and I would happily send you a copy of that. But yeah, you guys, that's gonna wrap it up for me on this video. If you like the video, please do give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that so that you don't miss out on any of the fun videos that are gonna be coming up. And you know what, you guys, it's gonna start to get fun soon, because eventually here in the next few weeks, we are going to be starting some seeds, and we're going to be getting our supplies and our dirt and all that good stuff. So we're going to be getting ready to get that going. So it'll be a little bit more fun and exciting as we get going on. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, so that you don't miss out on a single thing, because it's going to be all kinds of good times coming up. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.